Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up on the news, hundreds of flights nationwide brought to a standstill today after a massive computer outage.
Plus, the debate over abortion returns to the state capitol. Well, the latest bill senators are considering.
I mean, no mother wants to hear that their child is being harmed by anyone.
A mother says she discovered her child was being abused while at school. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Allegations of child abuse against 3 employees at Nebraska City High School have come forward.
The accusations come after the mother of a child with autism recorded audio of the alleged abuse. Channel 8's Matthew Mittleiter went to Nebraska City and talked to the student's mom. For more on our top story tonight.
So far, 1 teacher is charged with felony child abuse and 2 paraprofessionals are charged with misdemeanor child abuse after allegedly abusing a student at Nebraska City High School. Jennifer Egri, the mother of 17-year-old Tristan, says he has a number of conditions, including autism, that require him to be monitored at school and is part of the reason why he's in the life skills program at school.
So it's to teach students who have disabilities life skills that they could use in the community or at home. So some of those tasks might be like job-related skills, writing resumes, just on-the-job training.
According to an arrest affidavit, the teacher of the life skills class was aware of Tristan's special needs. Jennifer says she initially found out what was happening after his behavior changed at home, including him coming home extremely exhausted. She then purchased a recording device and Tristan took it to school with him so he could record what was happening. From the recording, she was able to hear a number of incidents where Tristan was pushed, hit with dodgeballs, forced to mop bathroom floors without breaks, climb stairs, and sit in soiled pants.
He asked for breaks after being, forced to do physical labor for, I think one time it was like 3 hours, and he was just like, I'm so thirsty. And they gave everybody else a drink but him.
Jennifer says the teacher, 50-year-old Melissa Valenta, and the paras have also been recorded joking about Tristan's clothing, ignoring him when he asked to go to the bathroom, and provoking him until they got a reaction out of him.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, I carry tissues in my pocket because who knows what, is going to trigger, something that one of them said or something that he said. It's still ongoing. I mean, it breaks your heart.
I came out to Nebraska City to meet with the superintendent of Nebraska City Public Schools, who gave me this written statement, which says they are obviously very disturbed by the allegations and they take the responsibility to keep students safe seriously. The statement also says while the family of the student and law enforcement were aware of the alleged behavior as early as September 13th, they didn't alert the school until November 3rd. Jennifer says after these incidents, Tristan hasn't been able to return to school. She says the school has taken some steps to amend the situation, but hopes they do more.
Tristan wants to go, to school. We want him to go to school. He just wants to be there in a safe environment.
In their statement, the school district says it took immediate action to remove employees from duty after learning about the allegations, but cannot comment further due to state law. They also say they've taken additional steps to adequately and appropriately staff the life skills program with long-term substitutes and are confident that their students are receiving an excellent education. Reporting in Nebraska City, Matthew Mittleiter, Channel 8 News.
And the teacher, Melissa Valenta, is expected to appear in court in early February. We'll, of course, keep you updated. In other news now, a group of Nebraska senators is announcing a new push for abortion restrictions in our state.
This legislation could outlaw abortions after 6 weeks instead of the current 20 under state law. Channel 8's Veronica Barreto joins us live here in the studio with more. Veronica?
Senator Albright, together with a group of Republican senators, announced Wednesday they will be introducing a bill that could outlaw abortion after a fetal heartbeat is detected. Supporters say that can happen after 6 weeks of pregnancy. They say the new proposal would not criminalize patients or doctors. However, doctors could lose their medical licenses if they performed an abortion after an ultrasound finds a heartbeat. Those opposing this bill say Nebraskans do not want lawmakers to be making these decisions for women.
Every parent remembers hearing their child's heartbeat for the very first time. A heartbeat is a universal sign of life, and we also know that abortions stop a beating heart.
The work for abortion rights has never ended. And there has never been a law that was passed anywhere in the world that stopped abortion from happening. We can only stop safe abortions from happening.
According to the DHHS, about 85% of abortions in Nebraska occur after 6 weeks. Those opposing the bill say most people do not know they are pregnant by that time. Supporters are expecting to introduce the bill in the following days. We will keep you updated with the latest information, and I will have more on this story at 6 o'clock.
All right, Veronica, thank you so much. Nebraska is still down one senator in Washington, D.C., and Governor Pillen is expected to select a replacement any day now.
Former Governor Pete Ricketts announced he's got an interview set, but several others have also applied, including former State Senator Brett Lindstrom, District 1 candidate John Glenn Weaver, and Ann Ashford, the widow of former Congressman Brad Ashford. Now to that nationwide ground stop on flights across the U.S. A computer outage this morning caused a cascade of flight cancellations and delays at airports from coast to coast.
All operations are now back online, but the backlog of passengers trying to get to their destinations definitely continues. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more from New York.
Air travel chaos, hundreds of flights at airports nationwide brought to a standstill after a massive computer outage at the FAA. Planes seen sitting on the tarmac, passengers ordered off aircraft.
The FAA did just post that no U.S. departures will happen today until 9 a.m.
Officials say the issue started late last night and quickly escalated. By early this morning, the Notice to Air mission system was completely offline.
NOTAMs are warnings or alerts to pilots that are often given to them before they fly, signed off by the pilot and a dispatcher, so they understand some of the risks and some of what they will encounter during their flight.
The outage quickly snowballing into a travel nightmare for passengers, many lining up at ticket and customer service counters searching for answers.
There's just a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, trying to figure out what I should do, trying to get an answer from the airlines.
Some airlines, including American, Delta, and United, extending flexibility with flight changes, while Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg promising the FAA will own their part in this meltdown.
My top priority right now is to understand the root cause, understand how it could have led to this level of disruption, and understand how to make sure that it does not happen again.
And President Biden saying today that there's no indication that the system was targeted in any way. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says that the root cause of the situation is under investigation. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
And here in Lincoln today, things were no different.
The FAA system outage caused delays for flights coming in and out of the capital city.
Our first 3 flights, which would have been Houston, Chicago, and Denver, were all delayed due to that system outage that the FAA was experiencing. So passengers may not have made their flight right away out. Now the rest of the day will be delayed because those morning flights are so crucial, especially if they're connecting flights.
Yeah, like she just mentioned, with the FAA system backing up and flights now back in the air. But Rachel said all of the flights that were delayed are still causing delays across the country. She says if you have a flight or a connection somewhere, check with the airline to see what time the flight will depart.
All right, let's take a minute and talk about your weather. For that, let's go to Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins. Our days of the 50s pretty much over for now.
For now, and we'll get back to that as we head towards the weekend. We just have to deal with reality for a couple of days, which, fine, it's January. I guess we do what we have to do. But here's your weather headlines. We are going to see temperatures take a little bit of a dip. Chilly through at least Friday, but we are going to warm up as we head through the weekend. And there are some precipitation chances out there as we head through the next several days as well. Now, right now, there is precipitation out there, central and western Nebraska, especially western and southwestern Nebraska, where some accumulating snowfall is happening, but just not a whole lot for the northern half of the state and southeastern Nebraska, just kind of missing out as that storm moves to the south. In Beatrice, Schoen's Roofing showing that it's quiet and cloudy and on the cool side. We're at 38 degrees, which is about normal for this time of year. 41 degrees just a little further south, 40 in Falls City. At the airport, it's 37 degrees, some 20s just to the north and east, but most of the state in the 30s. The wind is starting to pick up. We didn't have much of a wind today, so it made today's cooler temperatures tolerable. but that wind is going to pick up as we head through the overnight into early tomorrow morning. So these temperatures that are only going to drop into the middle 20s, which isn't too cold this time of year, will feel colder because of a gusty north wind at 20 to maybe 30 miles per hour. So a blustery day headed our way for Thursday, and then another one on Friday. Then we start to warm up. So we'll talk more about that warmer forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Rusty. A man faces several charges after a standoff at an apartment lasted several hours.
It happened near Washington and 9th Streets just after 4 p.m. yesterday. Officers say a man threatened a woman with a gun during a disagreement over a parking space. When confronted by officers, 34-year-old Jeffrey Howard went inside the apartment. Police also found out 2 children were in the apartment at that time. After more than 3 hours, Howard was taken into custody without incident.
2 men from Milwaukee are behind bars after officials say they were found with nearly 100 pounds of marijuana. Deputies stopped them on I-80 near Lincoln, near 56th Street exit. It happened yesterday morning. Deputies say they found 95 pounds of marijuana, THC cartridges, and 2 handguns. Coming up, as consumers and businesses are seeing a big hike in egg prices, there is also a shortage at grocery stores.
How some Nebraskans are taking matters into their own hands by getting their own chickens. Details after the break.
The new iMart
The deadly avian flu is reducing poultry flocks all over the country, resulting in higher egg prices. Currently, the national average cost of a dozen eggs is more than $3, with some people paying over $12 for the 18-pack.
Here's how the increased prices of eggs is impacting Nebraska.
As consumers and businesses see the increase in egg prices, there's also a shortage at the grocery stores.
There's no eggs. We're sold out of eggs. I need to go this way, guys, or need everything move that way?
The main reason for the shortage is the recent rise of avian flu cases.
You have to destroy all those chickens, and you don't have near as much eggs. So you have that good old-fashioned supply and demand. More demand, not as much supply, so got to raise the prices.
The situation is making some people choose other alternatives.
People are, buying a few chickens, just enough to feed their family and maybe share with neighbors.
Others are supporting local producers, but some farmers are also seeing the impact of inflation. The Nutt Family Country Market, for example, saw the need to recently raise their egg prices to $4 a dozen.
That's the big issue right now, just the cost of everything. It just as simple as down to the carton. Per carton, the feed, the bedding, it's just outrageous.
The Tri-Cities have different laws for those thinking on producing their own eggs. In Kearney, people are not allowed to have chickens within city limits. In Hastings, no more than 6 hens are allowed for each single-family home, and in Grand Island, the laws are also different.
You can have chickens in Grand Island, but you have to have a minimum of 1 acre. So the lot that your home is on has to be a minimum of 1 acre, and then you can only have 4 hens per 1 acre. Roosters are not allowed. If you have the minimum lot size, you can have hens, but you cannot have roosters.
And as for here in the capital city, you can have up to 20 chickens and no roosters.
But keep in mind, you need a permit, and the chicken pen can't be closer than 50 feet from another home and at least 5 feet away from another property line.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins.
High temperatures today struggled a little bit compared to the last couple of days. Now, southeastern Nebraska still had warmer than just about everybody because of the lack of snowpack from Hebron, Lincoln, Grand Island to a certain extent, Omaha and Nebraska City. So 40s, Hebron at 46, but everybody else pretty much in the 30s, and a solid swath of snow keeping temperatures at bay. But notice outside at Honda of Lincoln at South 27th and Yankee Hill Road, no snow on the ground, so it's easier to warm up. But there was a lot of cloud cover today, so that kind of hindered a lot of the heating that could have taken place. But we're still not bad. Again, our average high is 35 this time of year, and we're still at 37 at the Lincoln Airport, 37 Yankee Hill Road. Firth, you're at 36 degrees, 34 in York and Aurora and Central City. Grand Island at 36, still 40, hanging on to 40 degrees in Hebron. But this is 10 to 15 degrees colder than we were yesterday, 10 degrees colder in Lincoln, 14 degrees colder in Aurora. So it is cooler out, noticeably cooler. Now the wind is still tolerable. That as long as the wind stays down, it makes for 30s and 40s much easier to take. But boy, when those winds start to pick up 20, 30 miles per hour and temperatures are in the 30s, that hurts a little bit. So a lot of cloud cover, and you don't have to go far before you start to see the snow trying to eke its way into central and southeast Nebraska, even a few raindrops trying to form there towards Fairbury. I'll zoom out and show you the heavier snow has now shifted out of the Panhandle and is now into parts of southwest Nebraska. So areas like Dundee, Chase, Perkins County, Lincoln County, even Hayes and Hitchcock seeing maybe a swath of moderate snowfall. But this whole thing is diving south. So anyone in central and eastern Nebraska, it's just this thing's going to go around us and head east. And Stormcast will show that. You can see that's a kind of a mess through 7 p.m. And this model is projecting this pretty well. It's just kind of reaching out towards Lincoln, but watch what happens. Everything just dives south into Kansas. So we could see a few flurries in south central and southeast Nebraska, but the heavier precipitation will be well to our south and east. And by Thursday morning and towards around noon, A lot of cloud cover, maybe some sunshine trying to peek out in parts of the Panhandle, and this cloud cover will all eventually pull off to the east, but this is Thursday night and there's still quite a bit of cloud cover out there. So I think tomorrow will be a cloudy day. The sun should come back on Friday. Temperatures tonight between 20 and 25 degrees, which is still a little above average, but this north wind at 10 to 25 miles per hour will likely give us wind chills around 10 to 15 degrees. So a definite blustery feel. Cloudy tonight, maybe a flurry or two in the Lincoln area, 23 degrees. That north wind though at 10 to 25 miles per hour. Highs tomorrow, a little cooler than average. It's been a while. We haven't seen cooler than average temperatures for a good portion of January. So here you go, upper 20s, lower 30s, maybe the middle 30s. And with that northwest wind, that's a cold wind at 10 to 25 miles per hour. 32 will likely feel like the 20s, maybe even the teens for a good portion of the day. Short-lived Thursday and Friday, 32 and 37, so the cold snap, I guess if you want to call it that, even though temperature is pretty close to normal, comes to an end on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll see those temperatures in the lower 50s. And then we cool off a little bit. Some rain showers possible on Monday, 43 degrees on Tuesday, a little light snow possible on Wednesday with those temperatures falling back into the 30s briefly, and then the lower 40s as we head towards the end of next week. So again, tomorrow's the coldest day out of the next 10, and really it's closer to normal than we've been in some time.
Yeah, not too bad at all, but it is nice to see, I know there are a few days out, but it's nice to see some moisture chances return to the forecast.
We certainly need it, so hopefully those that need it can see it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rusty. A positive day on Wall Street. The Dow jumping 269 points. NASDAQ is up 189. S&P also gaining 50. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Tonight, after the powerful test.
Finally tonight, a high-speed viral video and some clever detective work led to a police chase suspect being taken down by his own social media.
Jeremy Roth has tonight's Take a Look at This.
A motorcyclist who took Georgia authorities on a wild ride ended up being busted by his own viral videos. First-person video shows the weaving high-speed chase that led police through 2 counties before the suspect got away on his motorcycle, a sport bike that was so rare, one keen-eyed cop later searched a local database and found only one of its kind registered in the area. The clever cop took it a step further, looking at that owner's TikTok and YouTube accounts, where he found video of the chase posted for all to see. Authorities interviewed the suspect at his home, where he allegedly confessed, leading to 12 arrest warrants issued in the case. Let this be a lesson, kids. The internet is written in ink, you knuckleheads. From a hot pursuit to hot lava. That's the star of this destined to be viral video posted online by USGS officials monitoring new activity from Hawaii's Mount Kilauea volcano. The day and night vid shows lava cooling on the surface, forming crustal plates, stacking up along margins to build levees, and yada yada yada. Look, it's all very fascinating, but frankly, we're just here for the lustrous, luminous lava light show. And speaking of light shows, stargazers, NASA says keep your eyes on the skies for a once-in-a-lifetime celestial sighting. A newly discovered glowing green comet, clunkily named C-2022-E3-ZTF, is expected to be visible in separate hemispheres over the next month. But better not miss it. NASA says this is the first appearance of the green comet in 50,000 years. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Yeah, better take advantage of it, right?
Mhm.
All right, take advantage of our final check of the weather with Rusty, too.
Last time I got a forecast right was about 50,000 years ago, too. So satellite radar showing some snowfall, especially in the western half of the state, maybe mixing with a little light rain in north central Kansas right now. But your forecast looks like this. Temperatures on the chillier side Thursday and Friday, warmer on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Rusty, and thank you all for joining us.
World News is next. See you back here at 6.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
Need a better night's sleep? Come see us. At Comfort Made Mattress Factory, our custom-made mattresses are built to your needs, backed with a lifetime comfort guarantee.